Hey, it's Josh from Shaman's Harvest.
I'm getting under your skin
Let's rock.
till there's no more breathing room. I'm taking in everything you breathe out.
Welcome to Let's Rock.
Hey, it's good to be here.
How you doing?
Doing great, man. Just another frigid day here in mid-Missouri.
Join the club. It's about minus 25 Celsius here.
Yeah, I should know my audience. I should know better than to complain about temperatures.
Yeah, it's a little rough here. This is crazy. I don't know if you saw my first reaction of your new album. I posted it yesterday.
Yeah, I did.
I apologize so much. I've never heard of you guys before until Friday of last week.
Wow, yeah, it's we've always been kind of considered the little engine that could in the rock and roll world, and it's like we're always just in the shadow of everything else for the past 20 years, it seems. So par for the course, but glad you're on board now.
It blew me away, dude. Where has your music been all my life?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Our first record, we only printed, I think, maybe 1,000 or 3,000 CDs back in 1999, and we've never repressed them, so there's only 3,000 of them, and I'm pretty sure on any given weekend you can find one at a garage sale here in Jefferson City for like 25 cents. So just FYI.
Come on now. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, I'm on board. Fantastic album. Congratulations. It's amazing.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
A lot of time and a lot of work was put into this, wasn't it?
It was, both strategically and then it was just forced upon us too with 2020 and then the trying to get back to it in 2021. So we're just really thrilled that the record we thought was coming out 2 years ago is finally coming out March 11th of this year, and we get to go back out on tour and see the country and see the world, and who can argue with that?
Has it been in the can for that long?
Yeah. We finished tracking. All the tracks were done December of 19. So, we had intentions of coming out like June, July, August of 20. And everybody knows what happened there. And then it was just trying to get everything restarted after that. So it wasn't like just flip the switch and go. It was like, okay, well, now we have to reorganize everything, and now we have to, it just took a minute, and especially to be able to do it right. And luckily we got the good people at Mascot Label Group that really bend over backwards and go the extra mile for us. So we kind of took some advice from them on how we'll release the whole thing, and everything's just been going great.
And it comes out somewhere, I have it here. It comes out when?
March 11th, I believe.
March 11th.
Yeah.
So this is quite early, actually, this interview.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's almost 3 months early.
Yeah. But you're going out on tour next month.
Correct.
And I checked Setlist FM, and you guys haven't played a gig since 2019.
No, we haven't. Whenever we record a record, we like to just dive all in on the record and not have to, have 1,000 irons in the fire. So that's what we did. We initially, once we got off the road in 2018, October of 2018, we almost took an entire year off to just do the demos for the record. Something we had never really done before, but on top of everything else, we were exhausted. We had toured 6 years straight, 300, days a year. And, I don't care who you are, that's exhausting. And it's rock and roll, but it's also, it's a daily grind. And, we needed a little break to become creative again.
And it worked.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully, it was a really good process. And what's cool is, this is like 2 years ago, basically, and it's all coming out now. And so we already have the next something already ready to put out there as soon as we get to it. So, it has been some time. It's like riding a bike, though. We still know how to do it. We got together a couple of weeks ago and jammed. It was pretty sweet.
That sounds so bizarre for a rock band. We got together a couple of weeks ago and jammed.
Yeah, I mean, it's just we're not all in Central Missouri anymore. I'm the only one here in the hometown still. Nathan's in outside of Nashville, and Derek's down in Cape Girardeau, Sykeston, Missouri, and Adam is up in Iowa, Burlington, Iowa. So, we're all about 5 hours apart from each other. It's not just easy, and on top of everything else, we all have families. We all have our home life, and that was another big adjustment getting off the road in 2018 and taking some time off. It was like, wow, we got to become part of our households' lives again, which was kind of a blessing. To say.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So how long before the tour? You're going out on February 13th, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Is the first gig, or February 15th?
15th, yep.
February 15th. So how long before that will you get together and polish things up?
Well, like I said, we've actually gotten together a couple times over the last 2 months. Spend 4 or 5 days here, 4 or 5 days there, just depending on schedules. But we're going to spend the first week and a half of February just going through and doing the final pre-pro, and just, having all the crew and having all the bells and whistles with us and setting it up and jamming the show and preparing for it. The theory of a Deadman's always been an awesome theory, or whatever you want to call them. I've always been great to us whenever we've toured with them in the past. We couldn't think of a more fitting way for us to kind of reintroduce ourselves and this new record to the world, starting out with our friends.
Are you worried about what it's going to be like during a pandemic? I mean, you've never had any shows during the pandemic. Are you worried about how everything's going to run?
Yeah, I'm optimistic. You got to be optimistic, otherwise, it'll wear you down. But Nate, our singer, he has immune deficiency, so it does worry me a little bit. I think normally if there's something to be an illness, he'll get it first before anybody, and have it 3 or 4 times before anyone else will get it. So, staying healthy and keeping, not. The most important thing for us is for all of us to maintain our health. As long as we can maintain our health, we can go out and tour, and our fans can get to see us. And so, there aren't going to be the same opportunities as tours past, where we're not doing VIP meet and greets. There's going to be a lot less, off stage interaction between us and our fans. And that's always been something that we've always prided ourselves on, was meeting our fans, going out in the crowd, taking the extra pictures, not charging people to take a picture in the crowd, just being a part of the night, and making a memory. And so not doing that this time around is going to be something different for us. We're going to have to, I don't know what we're going to do. I guess we're going to hang out on the bus all the time. I don't know.
Yeah. And also you won't get to hang out with Theory.
Right.
You got to keep your distance from your friends as well, right?
Yeah. Those guys love to golf. I love to golf. We always go golfing whenever. I mean, are we going to be able to go golfing? I don't know. I won't know till the tour starts. I'm bringing my clubs though, just in case.
There's got to be somewhere that's not as cold as where you're at right now.
Right. Yeah. Luckily, we have 7 days in Florida, so that who's going to complain about that in February?
I'll tell you, I wish I could go down there right now, man. It's ridiculous here. I'm sick of it already. It's only January. Okay, let's talk about this new album.
Yeah.
The thing that blew me away, and again, I'm new to Shaman's Harvest, but you're just so eclectic. You go from heavy metal in the first couple tracks to super blues in a few of the tracks with acoustic slide guitar. You're all over the place. Where does this come from? Where does that, how do you go from one to the other so quickly and easily?
Yeah, it is kind of strange, I will admit. But
wait a sec. I didn't say it was strange. I should have said it's awesome.
In a good way, but for years, we've been doing this a long time, and there's always been little characteristics of our sound that people would say, oh, they sound like this band, or hey, they sound like that band. And really, we can be influenced by any and all. I mean, music's music. And so what we kind of set out to do is de-genreify music. It's basically either good music or it's not.
Right.
I mean, that's two kinds of music, and it doesn't matter what genre you want to label it. It's either good or it isn't. So, let's degenreify it all and just call it what it is, and that's just music. All the labels on it just kind of drive us crazy. We're kind of like a sonic jambalaya of influence. All of us have our own little characteristics to what we bring to the table. And when we write, like, I know something that's going to pique Nate's interest, so I'll kind of write something in that vein, and then he'll hop in and be all on board, or he'll think of something that he knows I'm going to be into, and so he'll write something into that vein and then we just mix it up. So Derek's a phenomenal guitar player. I mean, the color and every solo he plays is really dumbed down. I mean, he could just shred and do all the technical things you'd want him to do all day long. But, that kind of stuff goes back to just the song is the song. It doesn't have to have all this frills and all, it's either a good song or it isn't a good song. It's the same kind of principle. Less is more approach, I guess, and I guess we probably get that from more of the blues bass music. But we're still metal fans too, and we just kind of take it all in and stir it up and spit it out.
That's one thing I noticed about the album is, and I even mentioned it in the review. I can tell at some points that he can shred. That Derek can shred, but he's all about the tune. He's all about the song and making it doesn't have to be, John 5 all the time. And I love John 5 and I love Steve Vai and all those guys, but it wouldn't fit in your songs.
Right.
So he's playing perfect parts. It's awesome.
And so that's kind of our goal. It's a less is more approach, and we really want to focus on each individual song. Each individual song will have its own individual life and characteristics and whatnot. And, sometimes it's real Southern, gritty, dirty. And other times it's, tight, crunchy in your face. Sometimes it's a soft ballad melody, or sometimes it's a guttural scream that, makes it happen. So, we've driven our management and our record label crazy because we can't say what genre we are, and for whatever reason, if they put us in active rock, and I get it, we have some active rock songs, but we're pretty much about degenreifying music.
That's awesome. One song that really stood out to me was Bird Dog.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic tune. It's just so eerie. It's got such an eerie vibe to it.
Yeah.
Can you tell me the story behind that one?
Yeah, we were in the early days of pre-production. We had just tracked one song, one demo, and we were kind of just stuck. Like, everybody was throwing all these ideas out, but it was almost like there was too many ideas being all thrown out at the same time, so no one could ever get focused on anything. And I was sitting over in the corner, and I just started playing that drony guitar, and just start playing that as commotion's going around. And all of a sudden, Nate was like, "Hey, Josh, keep playing that." And he's like, "I think we can do something with this." And then it eventually evolved into Bird Dog. But it was all just based off that dark, primal feel of the opioid crisis in America. And that's kind of what it was all based on. All these communities that once thrived, all because of this drug that was given to them by their doctor, like, destroyed the whole community kind of vibe.
So it is eerie.
Yeah.
not just the sound, the actual message of it is
sure.
Eerie. Oh my God.
Out more than that, we don't like to necessarily define our songs. We really like the definition of any of our songs to be what you decide, or whatever the listener decides it is. Like, where it grabs you at is what it means to you, and what it means to me is what it means to me, and we're both right, kind of thing. So, we kind of write in a vague way to try to, get that interaction between the music and the listener. And I think that from the reaction we got, and just my individual opinion of it, Bird Dog really does. It just captures that mood, and it sets a scene in your brain. So while you're listening to it, it actually paints the damn picture. And that's what I love music that does that. Like you can hear it and jam to it, but like, can you see the color that it's putting off? You know, and Bird Dog is just, it has that dark color to it.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I very rarely listen to lyrics. I'm all about the music guy. So when I was saying it was eerie, I was just thinking about the instrumentation. But now that you mentioned it, I'm gonna have to go back and listen to the words and get
Yeah.
it, because I listen to the melodies, but I don't listen to the words so much. So
Sure.
I had no idea what it was about.
Yeah, it was a really fun one to track. And you know, we love to be in the studio and just like grab a couple things and make some sounds with them. And then, you know, so we had a lot of bunch of little eerie things you wouldn't even know that you're really hearing, but little clicks or pops or hoots and haws and all the little bells and whistles we put into it, just to give it that really authentic feel. So it was fun.
And speaking of all the bells and whistles, the guitar sound on this is really heavy.
Yeah.
What are you using? Like it is. Well, first of all, one thing I wanted to ask you is you're dropped down pretty far, aren't you?
Actually, Bird Dog's in standard tuning, standard drop D. Majority of the songs on the record are in standard tuning.
Really?
A lot of them we tried to record in B, and it just is hell on your guitars. So we found out that it actually transposed real good to standard tuning. And so now there, you know, we've layered some guitars. There's like a third guitar part in there sometimes. It just adds like a dark tone to everything. But yeah, for the most part, everything was in standard. Now, name of the song, Toe the Line, that was, we recorded that in drop A. So yeah, that one's a low one. But
it sounded heavy. So what kind of guitars are you using on these?
I used my PRS McCarty, and I have a Telly, and what is that one? Another PRS single cut that I got. Those are my main axes. Then I used a Dean ML on some of it, on Bird Dog of all songs, and then amp wise ran through a Fender Twin reverb. Also ran through 5150, and gosh, I'm trying to remember. I mean, it's 3 years ago. I should have wrote it all down.
Absolutely. Okay, so that surprises me. You're using a Dean on that on Bird Dog.
It just had a weird characteristic to it that none of my other guitars had. You know, it just kind of fit musically, not necessarily visually. Like it kind of was like, whoa, what's that guitar doing in that song? But that's what I'm using live too. It just has a particular sound that just kind of makes that song come alive.
It definitely, you can't picture a Dean doing that kind of sound. So I have to ask this. A while back, you toured with Nickelback.
Yeah.
And I've asked a few band members from other bands this question. Why do they get such a bad rap?
You know, I don't know. They were a blessing to be on the road with. And every night,
everybody's saying.
Every night I saw 25,000 people of all walks of life, men and women, crying and singing every single word to 27 songs. You know, I mean, it was just unbelievable. And the hospitality and the mentorship that they supply, you know, it's just amazing. They're great guys.
I can't understand the hate. I mean, I'm sure you've seen stuff on the internet.
Oh yeah. I mean, everybody knows, but you know, I don't know. I guess it's kind of like if you win the lottery, some people are going to say, "Ah, son of a bitch won the lottery."
Jealousy.
I don't know. Jealousy. That's ultimately what it is. You know, when you've written 37 number one hit songs, like, what do you even care what anybody thinks?
Yeah.
Honestly.
Do they care? Do they actually worry about it? Do they say anything about it?
No, they didn't make a big deal about it, or anyway, we never talked about it. They were just always nice people, and we treated them with respect. They treated us with respect. And,
awesome.
Awesome. It was just, yeah, man.
Have you been up to Canada?
That's amazing. We got to play in every single hockey arena across Canada. There's all the
so that was a Canadian tour.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So you've been to Ottawa?
Yeah, I don't think we played Ottawa.
Oh no, okay.
Or we didn't play them all, but we played a lot of them.
Okay. Well, we got to get you back here at some point.
Yeah, we love that.
Yeah, once the borders open up and everything's cool, we'll get you back up to Canada for a tour. I want to finish this off with a couple a weird thing I kind of do sometimes. When I first started this site, I was living in Korea, and my daughter was about 9 years old, and she always wanted to ask rock stars some questions. So she wrote about 10 questions.
All right.
And I throw them out sometimes. So they're a little different than normal, but
okay.
We'll give it a shot here. What do you think?
All right.
This is a good one. What do you do when you make a mistake on stage?
Nathan always makes fun of me because I smile. Like if I make a mistake and I'll just kind of grin, and he'll turn and look at me and he'll see that I grinned, and he's like, oh, he knows he screwed up, you know. I just crack a smile and just try to keep playing. I mean, I think that's the difference between professional musicians and non-professional musicians is, you know, you gotta be able to fake it on the fly sometimes.
Okay, good. Outside of the US, I don't know your whole touring history, but outside of the US, what's the coolest country you've played in?
What's the what?
Coolest country you've played in?
Cool. You know, we've only played in North America, and Canada was awful cool. You know, and it was 2017, and we had never been outside of the States before, honestly. And so we get to Canada, and first shows in Toronto and then in Montreal, and later on it was all the central to the west cities and whatnot. And I was like, damn, this country's cool. They got a lot of things America doesn't have. I had no idea. I was like, why doesn't America do anything like this? Well, you know, it's just something simple as like in the restaurant, like the server carrying a little thing you can pay just like right there. I was like, it's amazing. And so we get back to the States, and I'm like, God, I don't have any of the stuff they have up in Canada. So
Well, we're pretty advanced.
I don't know. Yeah.
So, okay, let's change that question a bit then. What country would you like to play in?
Yeah, you know, we've been trying a long time to get across the pond to England and to Europe. We've had a couple opportunities that just fell through right at the last minute. You know, one being COVID related, one not being COVID related. But you know, we seem to be growing a fan base in Europe, in the UK, in South America, like Brazil, and in Australia. If you look at all of our streaming numbers and all that stuff, you know, I'm thinking that sooner than later, we're actually going to be able to actually get out and not just be, you know, stuck in North America. Not that it's bad or anything, but we want to get out and take the show on the road and get across the pond.
Absolutely. Okay, I'll ask you two more questions that are related. This is again from my daughter. What's the best thing about being a rock star?
Well, you know, anytime you can pay your bills doing what you love, you know, that's winning.
Okay. What's the worst thing about being a rock star? She stumped you.
You know, it's you know, living life on the road isn't always easy. You know, it's especially when you got a family at home, you got to feed and nurture. So, you know, for me, being on the road is the most difficult part, is just being away from my house.
Right. Yeah, I can imagine, especially if you're doing what you said before, 300 shows a year.
Yeah, you know, and I got 3 sons. I've been married quite a while, and you know, that's a big responsibility of its own. So
that's a long time to be away from family, for sure.
Right.
For sure. Well, I'm not going to keep you too long. Congratulations again. Rebelator's fantastic.
Thank you, man.
I hope this is the one that gets you across the pond and down to Australia and over to Japan. Japan would be fun to play.
Yeah, I'd love to do that too. And yeah, you know, we find Ottawa. Like, let's get back up to Canada. You know,
As soon as this thing clears up, man, let's do it.
Yeah.
I gotta see this band now. I'm so happy that Steve passed along your album and said, let's do this, because
Yeah, I love Steve.
oh, he's fantastic.
Absolutely.
So again, congratulations. Best of luck on the tour, which
Thank you, man.
starts next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
About 2 weeks from now, and it runs for about a month.
Yeah. It'll be a good, nice way to ease into it, and knock the dust off. And
what happens after that? Are you doing like a headlining tour?
Yeah, we're gonna do a co-headlining band with one of our label mates. That's all being figured out right now, but I think we'll come home for a week or two and then go back out on the road doing this co-headline thing for a month and a half or so until the festival season hits in May and June. Rockfest in Cadott, Wisconsin just announced today we're part of that on the Sunday lineup with Shinedown. And so a bunch of festivals are going to be popping up and announcements to be made. And, we're just going to be focused on staying healthy, keeping the show on the road all year long, and supporting the new record. It was a grueling process to make this record, but, I wholeheartedly believe what we created was well worth effort we put into it, so.
Totally agree. If you come up to Ottawa, please play Lilith.
Oh yeah, it's in the set list, man. It is
good. That's my favorite song on the album. That one blew me away.
Yes, right on. Yeah, we hope that's maybe a radio single here coming up in a month or so.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a great song. So again, thanks so much for this. Congratulations, best of luck, and hopefully we'll see you up in Ottawa or Montreal or Toronto at some point.
All right, man. Sounds good.